Hi guys, Victor from Tech Heads here. Before we get started today, I would like to announce once again that our Patreon is officially live, but this time with some extra features. When you sign up, you officially become a producer of the show. This means that you will get access to exclusive behind-the-scenes content such as our extensive show notes. On top of this, you will also have access to the episodes 4 days earlier than everybody else. If this sounds good to you, feel free to check it out at patreon.com/techheads.
4, 3,
Now
2,
on with the show.
1. So, here we go.
How you all feel tonight?
Check. Clap on 3.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, clap. Whoa. Okay, so before we get into the meat and potatoes of today's episode, I just want to talk about something that I found either this week or last week that I think I maybe meant to bring it up actually last episode, but I just totally forgot. So we talked a little bit about gas prices last episode, and I wanted to bring up this app that I found. It wasn't like my recommendation or anything, but it's been kind of a lifesaver recently. So there's this app called Gas Buddy that shows you like all the cheap gas around you and stuff, and it's really convenient to check it out. You just like go to the App Store and find Gas Buddy. I'm sure they have it for Android, but they definitely have it for iOS. So anyway, I got it recently, and I was looking at gas around me, and currently, like just as of this morning, the average gas price in like half a mile to a mile of me is $5.50. And, that's pretty high. Like, that's not great. Like, I don't know. It's worse in other places, obviously, but it's still pretty high. So I saw this one gas station that was the closest one to me. It was like 2 or 3 blocks away. And it said $4.79. And I was like,
Ooh.
They have to be closed or something or out of business. There's no way it's that much cheaper. So
Right.
I go to this gas station, and it's not a gas station. It's like this hub for all the taxis in the area, like the taxi cabs.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like just a huge parking lot full of taxi cabs, and there's a big, kind of like a car repair building, like a big open garage door you pull in, and they would like repair your car or whatever. So there was a sign that said gas in here. So I'm just like, all right, screw it. I'm just going to pull in. And it's like, it is obviously, it's what you would picture. It's like, it looks dark and greasy and disgusting. It looks like, just any other privately owned auto repair shop or whatever, right? So I pull in and I feel like I'm on the Spider-Man ride. It's so sketchy and weird. And, I look ahead down the hall, and I was like, oh, there's a gas pump. So I pull up to the gas pump, and in Oregon, it's illegal to pump your own gas. I don't know if you knew that, Anna.
Oh, wow. No,
Yeah, so
I didn't.
Yeah, we have gas attendants here. So they like come to your car, they pump your gas for you. You don't even have to get out of the car.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy comes up, he's like, hey, you here for some gas? I was like, yeah, I am. Is it really $4.79? He's like, yeah, we're always just a lot cheaper. I was like, why isn't it packed right now? Like, nobody's here. He's like, yeah, honestly, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's so interesting. So
I know.
what is the average in Portland, though, compared to this place that's for $4.70 something?
I don't know what the true average is, but when I looked at just the gas stations within half a mile to a mile of me, basically, which is basically downtown Portland, they're all $5.50.
Oh, my gosh. That's huge.
It's huge. And it's like, I don't know why. I guess it's because they're a taxi business, but it's open to the public. I was like,
Oh, wow.
am I allowed to be here? I'm not a taxi driver. He's like, yeah, we're open to anybody. Just nobody comes here.
Huh. That's interesting. Like I have found a few places in Florida where they were sketchily, if that's even a word, cheaper than like 7-Eleven, Wawa or whatever. So there was a friend that told me like years ago that that the gas at those places is kind of like doubtful, like the quality, because they could be maybe like watered down gas, which is bad for your car. But honestly, I mean, I don't. It could be that that's not the case, in this situation. They just maybe they want to draw in people, but people think it's sketchy. But that's a big difference in price, But then again, it's gas stations always have a markup, so I wonder if did they pay like regular, like the same taxes as other gas stations, or like
do you
if
think
they
I'm
have
getting
like
the shittiest gas in the world?
Well, no, I don't know. The guy's not going to tell you that.
No.
But maybe I'm not sure. Have to be careful though, with your car, because you don't want to like damage your engine, because you're getting like super cheap. But I don't know. That's very interesting. That's very interesting that it would be like that much of a difference, like that's a huge percentage.
Yeah, it's
That's
really
like
nice.
what 15% cheaper than gas at other places,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's huge. I'm curious to know why now.
Yeah, maybe I'll do some field work for the show, and I'll bring my microphone and be like, "Hey, are you down to like do a quick podcast interview real quick?" And I'm sure I'm sure whoever it is will be down. Who knows? I'll update everybody on that, because it is fascinating. It was actually Dylan's idea. She was like, "Let's just go here," and I was like, "Honestly, I don't really think this is right at all." She's like, "Let's just try.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?" And sure enough, yeah, it's a thing. It's just down.
Did you have to pay with cash or card? Or did
Card.
you charge it? Card. Okay. Yeah, because I've fallen into that. I absolutely hate the places where they say like a cheaper price, and then you go in and the pump says something higher than that. I've gone into like the store and I asked the person, because here we can pump our own gas in Florida, but I asked and they're like, I don't know if you saw, but the sign says that price is for cash only. And I was like, oh, are you kidding me? Now I have to like leave just out of spite, because I refuse to pay the higher price just because you guys said that, it's cash only, because with credit cards they have to pay, for every transaction they pay like a percentage or whatever. So I get it, but at the same time it's so annoying. But it's never like that much of a difference, like 80 cents or something like that. But we did see that the gas prices have gone down here in Florida. Like yesterday, we've been going, like, I think just this past week, we've gone to like 2 to 3 places to look for, a bike that we're going to be getting. So yesterday we went to, all the way out to DeLand. It was far, but that bike was so nice. Yeah. And, it was a dealer, and the gas stations on the way there were, I think, $3.99. So they weren't as expensive. Because we have been seeing everything like in the 430s. Hi, Victor.
Hi, Sam.
Sam's here. So I'm hoping that, things start to kind of like calm down price wise, because they were going like the gas here. I think I was seeing something I've never seen before. But then again, I'm complaining about something and you guys are seeing like, $5, almost $6 a gallon. And it's not quite that much here yet, but it would be nice if it went down to like 3 something, if not lower, because man, I mean, I have a Corolla and Sam went to fill up the car the other day. It cost like $50. I've never, ever paid that much to fill up the car. If anything, it was always half of that, So it was kind of like, oh, wow, now we are feeling it,
It's a new world out there right now. Speaking of new world, we have a new game coming out this year, which I know Anna and I are really excited for it. I remember like I feel like 2 years ago we were talking about it.
I know, it's been that long.
It's been like 20 years in the making apparently, but anyway, so the Hogwarts Legacy gameplay was finally revealed to the public. We could finally see what was going on in all these years of development and see what they've done, because the trailer that they gave us a couple years ago, right? That was like, it was just mind-blowing, but it wasn't really revealing, right? So I'm happy that we actually got to see that. And I'm glad they had their. It was like a dedicated event to it, right? It was like its own thing, so it was a huge deal. But
Yeah.
I had the theory this whole time that like since Sony's been kind of in charge of the news on it, I had a feeling like, oh, okay, it's probably going to be like another Ratchet and Clank where it's only on the PlayStation. And I actually don't remember if Ratchet and Clank did anything other than PS5 release. They may have done a PS4, but I don't remember. But I know they didn't do Xbox. So I had a feeling that that was going to happen with this game too. But during the debut, they revealed that they would be releasing it on PS4. So that's nice. And PC and Xbox One and Xbox Series X. So I'm really relieved of that for everybody because I have a PlayStation 5, but if I didn't, I would just be the saddest person in the world if I couldn't play this game, you know? So I'm really glad that they're opening it to all the other devices, consoles, if you will, as well. I am curious what the pre-order price is going to be, but it is kind of funny. And it's just funny because like I don't care what the price is going to be. I'm going to get it anyway. Like if it's if it's on the high end, like what am I going to do? Like not get it? Like obviously I'm going to get it. So they kind of have me by the butt, and I'm afraid that they know that about everybody who wants the game. So they might actually kind of charge
a lot,
like Far Cry prices, where it was like the premium one was like over $100.
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, like, did they? So you said that they're coming out like they're like cross-platform, so not just consoles but also PC, right?
PC.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how that would do with my Mac. I could always just download it to like another Windows laptop that I have here,
Exactly.
you know, at home.
You have a PlayStation 4 though.
Yeah, I do. And it's been doing just fine. I mean, Sam's been using it to play Resident Evil games. You know, I've had that thing for like 5 years now. If not, no, longer. It's like more than 6 years now because I got it on a Black Friday deal in like 2015 or something crazy. I got the Uncharted bundle back then. So yeah, I mean, she's been playing and it's fine. I think the only thing is sometimes we, you know, the controller, I feel like it loses the charge, like, you know, very quickly. So we might have to like, you know, get a new controller, but I'm definitely going to keep like, you know, my eyes peeled for this one because yeah, we have been talking about it for so long that it's kind of like, yeah, I mean, I think that it was like in the works before COVID or it was supposed to come out like, you know, a year ago or something like that. But obviously, you know, everything got delayed due to that. So, so yeah, this is going to be exciting. Did they have a release date? Do you know? I don't know if I didn't watch the demo video. I have to.
Oh, you need to check it out. It was insane. Yeah. They said that their target is the holiday season of this year. So hopefully later this year. Yeah, I'm really hoping so. And it seemed like a super official announcement. They weren't saying like they're optimistic or anything. They were saying like, yeah, it'll be here later this year. So
nice.
Yeah, I'm really excited. For you guys who don't know, though, it is not Harry Potter. It's its own story. So it takes place in like the late 1800s at Hogwarts, and I think it's like you're a student who, I guess, transfers to Hogwarts or something. I don't know, but you basically start in your like 5th year. So like you're not a little kid playing Hogwarts, like you're a super young, you know, adult or whatever. And I don't know, I guess it's just a little more appealing because if you're like an 11-year-old playing this crazy action game, it's like kind of weird and cartoonish in my opinion. So I'm glad they did that. So you're starting out as like an older, almost a young adult basically. And it really seems like you maybe were like discovered late or something because you get sorted into your house in your 5th year, which usually for you people who know, like you get sorted the moment you get to Hogwarts for your 1st year. So I think there's something going on with that, but yeah, it is really crazy. I'm excited to see how they figured out like the the orientation and the floor plan of the castle and the outer grounds, because I guess you're going to be able to explore so much outside of the castle too. So
Yeah.
I'm really, really excited
wow.
for that. Yeah. And I'm glad that the team really seems like they were really, really into Harry Potter. Otherwise, they wouldn't want to be working on it. I guess they reread the series while they were developing the game so many times, because they would like come up with an idea and they'd be like, I don't know if that's consistent with this or that. So since they weren't exactly consulting J.K. Rowling, during the whole thing, they had to do their own research and read. So
Yeah.
it is really cool. I'm glad it's coming out somewhat soon. Yeah, but I'm glad it's not rushed either. Like if it would have come out a couple years ago and we wouldn't have gotten as good of a game, like that would have been such a disappointment. But I really do think this is going to be a big one.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. I think that like because I guess they're trying to stay like true to the story, not like the movies but the actual novels. Like it's going to be even like the hype is like through the roof now. But I really hope that they deliver like you said, like I think that the fan base is like so passionate that it's easy to like under deliver for some of these big like movie like book series or like franchises and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think that they've had like, a long time to do the work, and hopefully it's coming out now because they feel confident about it. So yeah, I think, I'm pretty excited. I'll definitely get it as well. I mean, I feel like, it's a must have. I've always loved Harry Potter more than like any other, book series. I have never read any of the books, but I love Harry Potter, like the story and just like everything about it. I mean, I watch the movies every end of the year, like every like holiday season. And yeah, so this one should be pretty cool. It's finally here. So, I mean, not finally, so we still have to wait like a couple months, but whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like now we have like, an end in sight, and it'll be really fun to talk about it once we get our hands on it.
No, for sure. One thing that's not really on that level of expectancy is the new Zelda game, because we did get a new trailer at least 6 months ago. I feel like it's been a while now, but we got the second Zelda trailer that came out, and we got a lot more info from it. But it's tough because I still think there's no release date to it. So which I'm actually really fine with. Like I'm in the same boat as how I was with Hogwarts Legacy. Like I'd rather them just not tell us exactly, because then I feel like they might want to rush it and produce not as good of a game, because the first Breath of the Wild was so good that like I want them to do like much better than that if they're going to take as much time as they want. So it's a great trade-off. Like you're going to get a better game that's way more playable and a lot more like little details, and they can really focus on consistencies and details so they don't get chewed out, because you have the whole internet kind of trying to figure out like what maybe they did wrong. Like one of the cool things is finding out little hacks and bugs that the developers didn't solve or crack while they were developing it, or you can see if like they're lazy with the story and be like, wait, that doesn't make any sense because this person did that before. So little things like that, it's so important, especially to the nerds out there. So if they get that wrong, they get chewed out and the game's done. So it is good that they take a long time for these things, and I'm glad they're doing it, especially because Harry Potter has the biggest fan base ever. So like they really, really need to make sure they get everything right. But they're kind of in the clear because they're tackling a new timeline in a way. So there's very little, there's probably like only so many characters that are going to be mentioned that are even alive in the current Harry Potter world, so but aside from the ghosts, obviously, because they live forever or dead forever, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. I think that that like it's new and it's refreshing because it adds like that new, I think there is, like novelty to it, like it's something that no one has seen before, and the developers also have like the ability to explore and like be more creative with how they're going to take the game while staying true to the story, but yeah, I mean, I think that obviously, like Ron, Hermione, Harry, that's only like, there are like three characters within a whole world, so this is really cool that they're trying to go like a different way, because I mean, my experience with other like Harry Potter games is one of my favorite Switch games is the Lego Harry Potter, but that's Harry Potter, so it's still like, you have Hagrid, like you have your other, characters there that everyone knows from like the books and the movies, but it's really cool that they decided to do something, different. So yeah, that should be refreshing and, kind of like expanded, because I feel like right now, honestly, it kind of reminds me of like Star Wars, because Star Wars is like this whole universe. And there's so much more that goes on other than like a couple of like central characters, like you have very different, like you have parallel storylines. But it's interesting that, that's where they're taking this Harry Potter game. And then, yeah, I think we need more Harry Potter. I feel like I miss it. I didn't really quite get into Fantastic Beasts that much. I watched the first one and I thought it was okay. But hopefully this one, will be, yeah, it's a video game, not a movie, but hopefully this one will be like a, like a sort of like a different story, but something exciting, to kind of like reconnect with the book series.
Yeah, I think that's the key word, reconnect, because there's not that many storylines, like there's luckily we have Hogwarts a history, and then we have like the kids stories from the 7th book that they made into a real book. Like we have things like that, like textbooks that they may have mentioned in the franchise, but other than that, yeah, we have the Fantastic Beasts. Like that was like what the first time they really branched out of the normal timeline, and like it's like received with mixed reviews, I guess, from the fan base. So I think this may kind of win people over and be like, oh, I guess we don't need Harry, Hermione, Ron, all those people to like make something successful. So hopefully that's the case. We'll keep everybody updated if you're not going to do it yourself, because you only listen to this for the most up-to-date news, because we release these weekly and we record a week before it comes out. So obviously the most up-to-date you could possibly be, if a week delay is up-to-date to you. Anyway, right. So I had a mission for myself and Anna to create something with any language that basically did a task for us, some sort of like automation project, if you will. So I had no rules to it. I just said, code up a program that did something that you don't really want to do manually. So that's really all I said. And then I just kind of let her do her thing. She let me do my thing. And it only took us a couple weeks, and we have our projects ready up to the very last second. We have mine ready as of literally 2 seconds before recording, thanks to the help of Anna. I mean, I was stuck on a weird logical error bug that maybe a freshman in college could have caught, but we got there and we have it working. So it's really cool. I want to go first because I feel like yours is way cooler, Anna. So I think for the excitement, I'll go first, and then people will be probably more blown away by yours. So.
Oh no, I think yours is a very good and useful one too. So yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, I guess it's fine. It's really silly. Yeah, it could have been as silly as we wanted. It could have been honestly super useless. And I think mine is really useless, but it's just fun that we could get it to work, and that was kind of my goal. So. Yeah. Anyway, without further ado, here's my project. So my idea was to do something in Python, because I like doing these sorts of projects in Python. And what I wanted to do was have some sort of email or text message sent to me to remind me to take my dog to the park, because I don't really do it enough, and it's really contingent on the weather, because we get lots of rain out here, obviously, in the PNW. So It's just kind of, it's always a thing. And I'm usually in front of my computer, so I don't look out the window and I don't see these golden windows of opportunity to go take my dog to the park really quick before it starts raining again. So I decided I should make something that emails me when a good opportunity arises to take my dog to the park. So I did just that. Let me open it real quick. So without getting too in the weeds of it, because I know a lot of you actually don't give a crap. You just want to be like, okay, cool, you made this thing. But for the people who want to know just a little bit about what's going on, it was a bit of a struggle on my part to do something as simple as send an email with code, which I had never really done that before without using a service like Twilio or anything like that, like a text message. So I wanted to do it without anything like that. I just wanted to use SMTP to trigger an email to be sent to myself based on some external data. And what I did was I configured my email and my password into a secret config file, and then have them set to these variables that can be called later on to send an email. So the email part, that actually it was kind of the hardest part, but then once I got it going, I was like, okay, I'm in the clear. I feel like I can do everything else now, because I knew that getting weather data with via an API is usually everybody's first sort of project. So I wasn't worried about that part at all. So luckily that was pretty simple. I got the weather data to come in whenever I ran the program, so that was good. But then the trick was to have it so that when the temperature is within this range, and when the description of the weather is anything that has nothing to do with rain, because I didn't want to go outside when it's raining, so I had to list all these different descriptions of the weather when it's not raining. And then after that, the hardest part that Anna and I just had to tackle was to get it to actually update and run infinitely, because whenever I was running it infinitely, it looked like the weather wasn't updating. So I was up till 1:30 last night. I finished it, or at least I thought I did. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to bed, but I'm going to keep this running. So then I woke up this morning, and I checked the terminal, and it looked like it was printing the same data every single time. So I was a little bummed about that. So that's when I realized, oh, it's not updating when I run it. I did something so stupid. So luckily, Anna came to the rescue. We actually used her recommendation from a few episodes back. We did live share. What's it called? Code share? I don't remember. It's that extension.
Yeah, live share, the extension.
Yeah, everybody go check it out. It's awesome. We did that. So we were sharing views of my code on two different computers without sharing a screen on a video chat app. So it was cool. She could control my code, type whatever she wanted, and I could watch her do it, kind of like on a Word doc in Google. So we did that. She figured everything out. She's like, oh, you dumb, just put this here and here and here, and you're good to go. So we got it to work, and it's been running this entire episode, and I'm looking, and the data's updating basically every time. So it's showing me different temperature, humidity, wind speed, the weather descriptions, and the pressure. So it's doing that. And whenever it meets a certain parameter, it emails me an alert. And then one thing I didn't think about, but I was like, what if it's nice weather all day? I'm just going to get an email every 5 seconds that I should take my dog to the park. So I set a time, not a timeout, but a time, what's it called? A time sleep in that function where it's satisfied, so that it sleeps for the entire day. So the program won't run for 86,400 seconds. So 24 hours from that time is when it starts running again. So it doesn't annoy me all day to take my dog to the park again, because I probably already did it if it's nice out. So that's my project. It's so useless. I could just look outside my window and be like, hey, I should take my dog to the park. But this was fun. I'm glad I did it. I definitely want to do another one of these soon. But yeah, Anna, please show us yours, because I actually haven't looked at the code. So feel free to share your screen You've looked at mine
Oh
for
yeah,
way
let's
too
do
long.
it. No, that was fun. I'm glad that. I mean, I really didn't do much. I think that you knocked it out of the park. Like you had everything on there. My script is the idea behind it was to create a Slack bot. So I find like if you're smart, if you're like have very focused notifications, they can be very useful. I really like it, like when it's not overwhelming and they actually have value. So I was like, what is something that maybe we could use, for like that's related to the podcast? And then I remembered that every time I want to look at like how many downloads we have, like the analytics related to the pod, I have to open up a web browser and go to our, account, see if I can even remember the credentials to log in. And usually I have to pull up my laptop, and I was like, I never do it from my phone. I always have to pull up my laptop. So how can I do it through, Slack, which I do have our channel on my Slack app on the phone. So I first started with using Selenium to be able to extract, the some of the values of the elements on the dashboard screen that we get right after we log in. So I'm pretty sure that we've covered Selenium in a previous episode where it's either a library or a framework, but it allows you to reach like a specific URL and then sort of scrape the some values that you would find with like on the web page, and then you can store those variables and do whatever you want with it. So basically like the first leg of my project, like one of the first functions I had to work on was how can I start out the browser. So mine is specific to Firefox only because of the particular because of the like one of the executables that I had to download, which is called Gecko driver. That one is for Firefox, and for every I think browser you have to use a different one. So
That's right,
yeah, so I had to, go from the very beginning, like with, the installation process for Selenium, but their instructions are very easy. You just pip install and then you follow like the simple getting started example. And then you can see how things really work. They break step by step, like even the getting started, code snippet, they like explain what each line is doing. So I thought that was really helpful. But basically what I did was I, tailored mine specifically for Firefox. It authenticates on my behalf, which I'm pulling, my email and password from a .env file. So I don't push, my credentials to GitHub because I do have a repository for this. So everything, is omitted. And then it starts to pull a couple of the elements from that page, like the last 7 days, like what the last 7-day download count is. And that worked fine. So obviously, after I was able to store all of that information, I created a Slack bot, which is, believe it or not, the easiest thing you will ever do. You literally, I just Googled, I think I went on YouTube and looked, how to make a Slack bot with Python. And it was a 10-minute video. The guy literally said, okay, you just go to, as long as you have admin, permissions to manage or configure your workspace, you can create your own app, just like we have, I think we have Poly, for like polls, and we have Carbon, for code snippets. It's just an app, but we're making our own. So you literally just go under, the admin settings, you create your own app, and then it's going to, you have to enable the, I think it's webhooks feature, and it will give you like an HTTPS, address that you're going to be posting to every time you want to send out a notification. So that was the shortest function I had out of everything I had to do. Because it was literally just, I stored the string, like the message, like the content from the Selenium function where I had been scraping the values from the page. And then I just passed that through as an argument to the function that sends the Slack message. But essentially, you just you use the requests library, which is a really popular one in Python. and you're going to do a post using the hook that they give you within your Slack settings, for that app that you're building from scratch. And then there you go. As soon as you do a post, you'll get a notification. So you're gonna have to pick like exactly which channel you want to post that notification to. But other than that, it really doesn't get more simple. Like, it's super, super easy. In something that I've always wanted to do. I just didn't think it was going to be this easy, because I thought that I would have to go through like the Slack API and learn how to build a bot and, how to post messages and all this stuff. But it's really not that complicated at all. I think the last thing I want to do to finish this up is to create a cron job, to schedule it to run, every Saturday morning or afternoon. And so, we have access to that information, or even more frequently. But I did run into a hiccup, just like, you had yours on your project. Mine came with, so for the management service that we use, to distribute the podcast, that is where I was logging in, to extract that information. I didn't want to use the API because I wanted to, try out Selenium. I've always wanted to. I don't know if I had ever done anything like this before. So I was like, okay, let's do that. And downloading one of like the H3s, the tag, like a H3, was super easy. But then I came across another value I wanted to pull, and it's like a nested div. But the thing is, the web app is built with Vue.js, so the elements are all called the same thing, and it's like an object. And I still can't for the life of me, because the div itself doesn't have an ID or a class, I could not find a way to pull it with a CSS selector or an XPath, or anything like that.
I was just going to ask, is there an XPath?
Yeah, there is. I tried. I even posted on Reddit. There are a couple of people that's made a few suggestions. I've tried everything. I was up until 2 a.m. for that reason, because I could not figure it out.
Wow.
So I got sick of it. I was like, I know how else I can get it. I'm just going to call their API, because I literally just needed one field called, total. Yeah. So I just query, I run a GET request to the API, and then I get the total, and that's the total downloads that I need to append. And then, so I have two functions. One that goes to the web page to get it. Obviously, I really wanted to keep everything together, just use like the Selenium to extract both values, but I can only get one. So for now, that's what I have. It's not ideal by any means. But I was like, I want to get this somewhere, like some way, somehow, and the API worked, so I then combine the string that I get from, both functions, and just pass that whole string over to the function that actually that uses the Slack hook, to post the string to. And Victor saw like one of the notifications that I sent out to our channel. And so now I'm just gonna focus on scheduling the cron job, since I might have to. I tried it earlier, but because everything I ran is in a virtual environment, so like a Python virtual environment, because I had to install so much stuff, I have to just add like a couple more, I think, arguments to the cron job. That's why it wasn't working earlier. But the script itself works just fine. I think I may revisit to see if I can still use Selenium to get the one value that I want. But I find it really cool. I really enjoyed like working with it. Their docs, are great. There's so many examples online, like a bunch of like Stack Overflow posts about it. So it's very cool. Unfortunately, I had to like resort to something else to get what I wanted done. But I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And, honestly, like to get the first part working, to actually fire out that first notification, it didn't take me more than like 30 minutes to an hour. It was really quick.
Yeah.
So I was pretty pumped, that actually sending out, notifications with Slack were that simple. So I feel like that opens up like a whole world of possibilities, even things that I might consider for like doing for work. But yeah, that's my, quick Python automation project.
I love it. I'm so happy you did this because it helps me too. Like it actually is super useful, but
Yeah.
I don't think you would really care to use my script, so I don't think you really need it. You live in Florida,
No.
so. But anyway, I did have a quick question. So going back to webhooks, I was looking into webhooks for my project before I kind of figure out what I was really gonna do, because I was a little stuck on a couple of things, but I ended up getting past it. But yeah, going back to webhooks, I think you mentioned something about a URL for the data to post to. Is that what you were talking about? And that URL is it's the link to the channel that the data is posted to? Is that how that works? Okay.
Right. So when you create like a Slack app, I'm trying to find
Got it.
like the one screen where like it shows it should be just here. Yeah, so basically like when you build, a new app, let me just close some of this stuff out. When you build like a new app within Slack, it will show you the like what features you can enable on it. So I really want to pull it up right here. It should work. I want to do it on the fly because this isn't. It's something that, I thought that it would be more complicated, but it really is not.
Well, while you're doing that, I was just gonna say, I figured out that webhooks, I guess, wouldn't work in my situation because I wasn't trying to post data to a specific place. I was just trying to only receive it and have it in the terminal. So that's when I think I was like, oh, I guess webhooks wouldn't make sense for my situation, but I wasn't entirely sure. So I'm glad you verified that for me just now, that it's good that I didn't go with this route, because it's not like I'm using something that's already built, like Slack, for instance.
Right. Yeah. It really is much simpler than I thought it would be, with regards to just like you can run like a curl, command, which is like on the command line. The tutorial that I watched, at least, the guy, he was using a terminal command to fire out that message, to Slack. So he ran like a Slack, I don't know, send Slack notification, and then -m, and then the actual string. So like he was using, he tailored his code, at least, to optimize his code to send it, like a custom message from the command line. I wanted to do something a bit more dynamic, because I don't want to hard code anything. It's all pulling from the web page or the API. Oh, here we go. Yes, thank you. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, exactly. So you go to, you'll go to your workspace management settings to be able to create that app, and then you click on, build. You're gonna make like a brand new app. Like in my case, let's see. I think I should be able to. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So in the features and functionality for what I used was just the incoming webhooks, because I don't want the bot to do anything else other than just receive, those post requests, like the messages that I'm getting, that my script is posting. So another thing I was thinking is eventually I might enhance this and implement slash commands. So one thing that I already use a lot within Slack for work is the slash remind. I do that one all the time. I remind myself, like I was just the scrum master for my team, for the past 2 weeks.
Whoa.
And we have like our stand up at 2 p.m. my time every day for 2 weeks. So because I was leading the stand ups, I created a reminder that triggered at 1:50 p.m. every, Monday through Friday, to remind me that the stand up was coming up, so I could, get my screens ready and like go to, the some of the content that we usually share during that meeting. And I use that one all the time. So I figured that, this is like probably StatsBot version 2.0 would be maybe implementing slash commands to get some more, feedback from like the data that it extracts. So yeah, that's the one thing that I wanted to, that I was thinking about just today when I was, wrapping up what I already had going on.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's so simple. I highly encourage, people to take a look at it, like even yourself, Victor, because I know that you like Slack as well. And yeah, this is pretty useful for a lot of reasons, because yeah, it's you can make it as dynamic as you want. And we also, like we could do one that does like, I don't know, Bitcoin pricing or whatever. Like we can do anything with it,
That'd be fun.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. And I'll share my code with you, later on so you can take a look. But yeah, that's pretty much what my project was. I think I covered everything. So yeah, it was built with Python 3, Selenium, and just some Slack configurations. Like I didn't have to code anything other than like in the actual script that that goes that runs through everything. But yeah, once you create like a brand new app on your Slack console, like for the admins, it will give you like the hook URL that you're going to be posting your request to. So yeah, it's very, very cool.
Yeah, congratulations for finishing it. I mean,
Thanks.
no project is ever finished in my opinion. We'll always find something new to put in, but V1 is done.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
exactly.
very
Yeah, once
exciting.
I think once I get that cron job scheduled, I'm gonna let it run on my machine so we get the notification. Like it might not be weekly, it could be like more frequently. We'll decide. But once I get the cron job scheduled, I'll let it run for I don't know, indefinitely, and then I can still change the script if we want to get more information or if we want to filter it down a bit. But yeah, I would say that probably like 95% done, because I achieved what I wanted to with this. I wanted to keep it simple because I feel like we've talked about Python being such a nice language to use, and
Yeah.
it really can automate small tasks, but that might save you some time. It might not. Now I can literally, like, I'll get these notifications, I can go back to the channel on my phone, it can be on the go. Like, I don't have to be like, oh, I wonder what it is. I wonder what my login and password is for that account, so I can access it right now on my phone. I can just look at a Slack notification. I feel like it doesn't get more simple than that. And that's why, Python is so useful for like automating some simple, boring tasks.
This episode is sponsored by Python, guys. So make sure you use our link down below. Download Python, use promo code TechHeads, and you'll get some Python 10% off. Totally kidding.
Right.
If you are new at coding and it says you have to purchase to download anything, it's probably a scam 9 times out of 10. So don't pay for anything. But anyway, I was just gonna say, yeah. Again, congratulations. It's the best feeling in the world when you get something done and it's like working to, it's like absolute minimal working requirements. It feels really good. And I share that gratitude as well, because I'm still looking at the terminal and it just feels so good that every 30 seconds it's telling me what the weather is, and it's actually changing every time a little bit, which it should, because there's gusts of wind and there's slightly different humidity levels, and it feels so good, and like it opens your mind even more to different opportunities and everything that you can do with your code. You're like, oh, I could do this now. I could do this now. So like, it's all about the features now. At this point, we can implement like the fun stuff, but we got the building blocks of both of our things done. So that's really cool.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So if this is if you've been thinking about trying to like do something with Python, I honestly think anybody listening to this show can code up their own Python automation little project like very, very quickly. Just watch it. Just watch a YouTube video on something similar to what you're trying to achieve maybe, and then just kind of copy it and refactor it for your requirements and whatnot, and maybe learn some basics of data types and loops and functions and all that stuff. But I hope I'm not making it seem easier than it is, because I do think like it's all about kind of doing as well. I think you'll figure it out. So yeah, if you've been thinking about it, I think this is your calling then. Anyway, I did want to share my recommendation real quick, if I may. So, this one, it's going to be linked down below because if you click on the link and you sign up, it'll be actually really helpful to me. So I got this thing called Morning Brew. Have you heard of Morning Brew, Anna?
No.
It's like it's an email that you get every morning, and it's basically the news in a way, but it's kind of tailored to what you want. So you can select like if you're into blockchain stuff, if you're into like global news, or I don't know, like personal health, fitness, like whatever you're into, they can figure out what you're into. You just like click a couple different things when you sign up as far as news goes, what you want to hear about. So then in the morning you get this really nice email, and it's like, it feels like it's written by like one person. There's like great little graphs and stuff, and it's just really readable, you know, like compared to some articles, they're just like really hard to get through sometimes. So yeah, every morning now, instead of like doing something mindless, I've been just like reading that while I make and drink my coffee. And, you know, I read the news that is interesting to me. So like for me, I prioritized like financial news, stuff like that, crypto, blockchain, that sort of stuff. And then like a little bit of global news, because some of that stuff is really depressing to me. So I don't want to read too much, but I do want to get a little up to date on it. So yeah, it's really great. I recommend it. And yeah, the link for you guys to sign up, it is down below. And depending on how many clicks I get like certain prizes. So if I get 3 clicks on it, I get some stickers. And then if I get 5, I get like a water bottle. And then at a certain point, I get a t-shirt. Like it's stupid, but it would be fun. So anybody listening, including you, Anna, feel free to click it and help me out. I'd love to get the clicks. And yeah, and you can, I think you just like it automatically subscribes you when you click on it once you finish the quiz. And then I don't know, if you hate it, that's fine. It's not like they're sponsoring. I don't care. But yeah, feel free to unsubscribe. But yeah, I do recommend it. I really do like it. I prefer it over like the Apple News app, or going to like one source in a way. Yeah, it's great. So what's your recommendation? I think I have an idea as to what it pertains to.
It's really boring. But like I said, you know, the last step to my project is to schedule like a cron job to run, you know, the task itself. And I like to schedule the script to run on a specific like time interval. And I had forgotten about this this web source called the crontab.guru, where you can literally type, you know, like you can play around with the values to actually get what the cron, because the cron syntax is like asterisks, and then you can, you know, fill in with the numbers. So if you wanted to run at 4 o'clock every afternoon, it would be, you know, 0:16. I think that they use military time. Yeah. So 0:16 and then star, because it's only 5 of them. But you can type it into, you know, their bar and play around with the values. So you get like the, you know, the specific cron that you want to run. And then in my case, you know, because I'm on Mac, I just open up like the cron-e, you know, to edit, to actually drop like the job on there and then save it. If you run cron tab-l, it will show you all of the scheduled, you know, cron jobs that you have on your machine. And because the, you know, Mac is also like a Unix system, and it's close to Linux, if you do man for manual, you know, cron tab, it will show you like all of the commands that you can possibly run. So like you can, you know, learn how to use cron. And it's a good source, something, you know, very like, I mean, it has purpose if you're gonna schedule like, you know, cron jobs, but you know, so you don't have to like try to like figure out on your own like what exactly you want to schedule it on, you know, because there are, I mean, so many possibilities, I think, in terms of frequency. So this source, you know, is visual, and it will give you exactly what you would need for like for the cron, you know, like at least a portion of the schedule, like the frequency itself. So yeah, I recommend it. I think I've only used this one honestly to like figure out how to how to configure mine. But yeah, that's it for me. Unfortunately, I don't have any other like groundbreaking, really
No,
cool
stop. That's
recommendations
groundbreaking.
today.
I'm gonna use it for my project actually, so I'm glad you brought it up. I'm gonna uh, get it to run so my program just like runs all the time. Yeah, I think that would be really
Cool.
useful for me.
Oh, actually, sorry. Before, I think because it's tied into cron jobs. One way to check, there isn't like I don't know if there is like a log that is kept, for every time your cron job runs, but one way that you can check is if you literally like in Mac, if you type mail, it will show you like the mail message, basically telling you if it ran correctly, if there were any bugs. So yeah,
Right.
mail within a Mac terminal, will let you know like if your script ran or if there are, some issues that you need to correct. So yeah, that's it. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, please. It's fine. Yeah, that's cool because doing cron jobs is not exactly my forte. I'm very not excited about doing it whenever that happens. So,
Yeah.
I'll check that out. I'll probably check it out like either today or tomorrow because I would love to get this actually running frequently. So that'd be cool.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, let's see. I think I had another thing to bring up. Let's see. Where is it? I think last episode we were talking a little bit of crap about Microsoft Edge, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe we weren't talking like direct shit to it, but we were kind of like, okay, like Microsoft Edge, whatever. So anyway, some news came out a couple days ago that basically the Microsoft Edge browser is going to automatically render alt tags for images, like with AI. So,
Oh.
yeah, over half of the images online, I believe, just don't have any alt text. And for people who are visually impaired, that's, kind of a really unfortunate case because then they don't really get to know what the picture looks like, at least. Because alt text is what the screen reader reads out loud to them to tell them what's actually happening in the picture. So, Microsoft Edge, I think it's out now on Microsoft Edge for
nice.
all devices. So they use machine learning to find these images that are missing the alt text, and then they add text in it to help describe what's going on. And I guess when there's nothing, it just says unlabeled graphic, and that's got to be like the saddest thing ever if you're visually impaired. You're like, dang, like if only like some stupid guy or whoever just like put in some text, that'd be so helpful to me. So it is really exciting to see that they're gonna be doing that with machine learning. But I had a thought when I was reading the article. I was like, I mean, doesn't this kind of spell trouble for a couple things? Like, I don't know, graphic content, for instance.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
So I read a little further into the article, and here's a quote. It says, the Vision API creates alt text in English, Spanish, Japanese, Portuguese, and Chinese, which then can be deciphered by screen readers. Microsoft Edge won't attempt to add automatic labels to images that are smaller than 50 by 50, or very large images, or images that are marked as decorative, or images that the Vision API categorizes as pornographic, gory, or sexually suggestive. So, okay. I was like, oh, there we go. But then I was thinking like I'm excited to see the fails. Like, I know there's going to be YouTube compilation fails of the screen reader, like looking at an image of, I don't know, a street cone, like one of those orange little caution cones or whatever. And it's just going to be like, ice cream cone, and it's going to be like a story about a crash, like a car accident with a cone. It's like there was ice cream all over the streets. Like, I don't know, just something stupid like that. I imagine that's going to be pretty eminent, but they do kind of address that as well. They're like, we know it's new and we know it's nowhere near done, but we're going to release it and we're going to keep improving on it. So hopefully they don't do that too soon, because I would be really excited to see some funny fails with it. So yeah, I'll maybe next episode, by then I'll do some more research and see what funny things have come with it. I guess that would mean that. Oh no, you know what? I don't have to do my own research. I can just like look up videos. So yeah, because I don't plan on. I still don't plan on downloading Microsoft Edge, even though I've heard good things. But yeah, just a little +1 to Microsoft Edge. Good job, little guy.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think that given, how, they're deprecating support to Internet Explorer and kind of, I think, trying to start from scratch. I mean, because I feel like when I first got into, development, it was all about Chrome. And then but I also liked, Firefox, and that's what I use for on my phone and on my personal laptop at work. I do use Chrome. But honestly, I feel like, Edge has plenty of time to like establish itself, as a good browser, especially if they do keep up, like these cool features and forward thinking tools, because they do have a lot to catch up on. But they started this project from scratch, and I've used the Edge at work, to test like a couple of scenarios, because you have to, not just in Chrome, like we service other browsers as well. So you want to make sure that you do test it out on that. And it was just fine. Like you said, I'm not gonna like be too quick, I think, to jump, but I mean, I still like test it out every now and then. I think they're doing a good job, so it should be interesting to see what else they do. I mean, Microsoft has like such an arsenal of of like tools at their disposal. And I'm sure that, it's probably going to turn out pretty well. I'm still so excited to try out Windows 11. That just hasn't come up to like as an available software update on my machine. But when it does, I'm going to be pretty excited, to talk about like my firsthand experience with that. And then that'll probably include, also like using Edge. I'll try to use Edge more frequently to see like how well, since it is part of like the whole Microsoft ecosystem, how well that will like how that will feel, from like a user experience point of view. But yeah, some interesting things coming out of Microsoft these years. So yeah, good stuff.
There are. Yeah. I'm excited for all the bugs that are about to happen at work as well. Especially like our internal tools and all the software we use and such. Like I imagine there's going to be a couple issues that come up, maybe not huge ones, but obviously with all major updates, there's always something that happens. So we'll see how that goes. I'm still excited for it though. It's going to be fun.
Same.
There was one other crazy thing. So I saw that Apple, what's it called? What's the headquarters called? Let me see. Apple Park. So it was. Did you hear that it was evacuated? Like a couple days ago. It was. It was partially evacuated after an envelope with white powder was discovered.
Oh boy.
But I think it's so funny. Like there's so many things. First of all, I like that it was partially evacuated. So. Like, did they not care about the interns?
I know. They didn't care enough about everyone, just like a portion of the people there.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe they left the seniors behind because they'd pay so much money for them. So maybe they only told the interns because they're so cheap to hire.
I know, yeah.
But I like to imagine that it wasn't anything because obviously like the first thing that comes to mind is like, oh, this was like a poisonous substance meant for Tim Cook maybe, and he would like sniff it and go to the hospital or whatever, or some sort of executive. That's just an example. But I like to imagine that it was actually a failed drug deal at work, just like trying to somebody hand off some substance, and it was Tim Cook.
Yeah.
And then maybe he got caught or something, or something happened, and then he just like immediately drops. He's like, oh my god, somebody's trying to poison me. Like it was just the perfect cop out to be like, oh, this isn't mine. I just found this. This is probably something sketchy. Let's partially evacuate the headquarters.
Right. That's kind of crazy, that it's still, anthrax or like these, I don't know, packages or whatever, or, still like, it's still like an idea for people to like threaten other people or, harm other people. But did they ever follow up on it to say if it was actually anthrax or no?
Not yet. They haven't commented.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that. I know
sketchy.
that. I know, right? Yeah, they're keeping it under wraps, I guess. But I'm sure that with that might also bring in like the FBI and whatever, So it's like a whole investigation. But I know that I did read recently that Tim Cook was being followed, like he had a stalker. This lady like drove across like cross country. I don't know if she was from Georgia, but I think she was, yeah, from the East Coast, and she was obsessed with Tim Cook and drove all the way out there. Even found out where his house was and went to his house.
Wow.
So now, as a way to like, I guess omit, like his residence, if you Google, like if you know the physical address to his house and you Google that, it will be blurred. The house does not show anymore. Yeah. At least on Apple Maps. I don't know about Google Maps, but that was something that came out of this issue that he had with his stalker. Was if you look up, his address or like that at least that street, one of the houses will be blurred out, which is his house. Yeah, so it's kind of weird, but I thought that I don't know if the woman was ever caught, or if if she has anything to do with this envelope issue. But I guess that remains to be known.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's such a good point. Yeah, she got pissed. She's like, I can't look at his house anymore online.
I know.
I'm just gonna kill him.
Yeah, it looked like she was a bit out of control there. So
Anna, tell us the truth. It was you, wasn't it?
no, no. I mean, I love Apple products, but I would never drive across the country for Tim Cook.
I bet she loves his Apple product, if you know what I'm saying.
Ew.
My name's Victor DeBell. Thank you guys so much for listening to Tech Heads. That's Anna. We will see you guys next week. Peace.
Thanks, guys. Bye. On that note.